DSD. I'm also Jim Woodhead's brother-in-law. Get that out of the way.
Honey, we need to talk.
Okay. That joke never gets old, does it? We've engaged with Scanforce back in September of last year to develop a multi-bin solution that works specifically for Scanforce, but is also standalone. We started development again in October, and we've built this as a module from the ground up. So it is a new module, but of course it does integrate with all of the distribution and manufacturing modules.
Is it going to be 100C compatible, or is it just a classic version?
It's going to work for everything you want it to work for.
Good answer.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. There were 7 phases in the development cycle. We are in the last phase. We'll be releasing revision 1 of the product on March 31st. This revision 1 will have the core functionality, the integration with Scanforce, and it works with the business framework modules. We're going to be releasing revision 2 just before Sage Summit, where we'll be adding more features, not just what we've already looked at and designed, but also based on feedback for anyone that has revision 1 of the product. This is important. Work order module we will not have done for revision 1. That module is legacy, it's its own little animal, and so when we release revision 1 on March 31st, we're going to already be in development on the work order module, so we'll try to release the revision 1 again with the work order probably within 6 weeks after that. As far as the functionality goes, when we designed this product, we looked at it from the warehouse standpoint. A company that has multiple warehouses, every warehouse is different, right? You might have a large warehouse with hundreds of aisles and thousands of bins, and you might have another warehouse where it's maybe 10, 20 aisles. So we designed this to be based on the warehouse code. So for each warehouse, you can set up what the bin locations look like. We also have a smart bin location. It's kind of like a geo account number where you can define what the bin location number looks like. So it has up to 5 segments, right? And you can put dashes or any characters in between. But you're not limited to that, what we call a mask. It's like the phone number field in Sage 100. So the phone number field, if you put in 10 characters, it puts it into the mask, right? But you can put a larger number in, and it's more like freeform. So we kind of did the same thing with the bin location number. So, and that makes sense because you might have a bin location called floor, or area 1 where you receive in all of your products at just that one bin, and then from there you replenish your individual bin locations from that. So again, we kind of started with a warehouse. You can turn on the multi-bin functionality by warehouse. You can do it by product line, you can do it by item, and you can do it by bin. So we wanted to give you the flexibility of how you want to use your bins. So the next part is the most important part, which is the allocation. So most of you that have never used multi-bin, you'll probably understand 80% of it. You have multiple bins, right? You have to receive product in, and you got to put them in multiple places, or when you ship, you have to pull them. So, the major component is allocation or distribution. So it's kind of like what you would see with a lot serial distribution, where if an item is multi-bin enabled, when you're in a receipt of goods or sales order or invoicing, you can choose the bins that it goes into. Now there's 3 ways to do allocation. The first way and the best way is Scanforce, right? So if you have the Scanforce mobile solution, it integrates and it handles putting items into the bins based on certain rules, or based on how you've gone to the warehouse and you've picked, right? Or you may ship based on scanning in the mobile device. So that's the first way. The second way is obviously manual. So you're in receipt of goods entry and you need to be able to do manual allocation from the bins. And it looks a lot like lot serial, but what we wanted to do is try to automate it the best way we could. So we also introduced auto allocation. So you can set up certain rules where when you select an item, it will automatically pull from bins based on certain rules. And we also wanted to have that lot serial integration as well. So, you know, if you're pulling from multiple bins and you have to do lot serial distribution at the same time, we wanted to automate that to be as easy as possible. So we gave you the ability to also set up rules of doing auto allocation for lot serial, which is nice, right? If you have a lot serial item and you plug in 100 quantity and receipt of goods, it'll automatically distribute for you, not just to the bins, but you can also set up, you know, put in the lot serial number and it'll automatically distribute it. The other part of the design is, and this is the feedback that I got when I talked to a number of resellers that were experts in multi-bin, is being able to view easily by bin and by item. So having that dual view, right? So in other words, looking at a bin and seeing what items are in the bin, but also looking at an item and seeing what bins it's in, right? So we have that dual viewing. And not only can you look at what's on hand, but we also added the ability of looking at what's in data entry. So whether you're looking at the bin or you're looking at the item, it'll show you what's on hand and what's in all of the data entries individually. And then finally, reporting is the most important thing. You know, being able to do picking sheets and doing it in a way where it sorts not just by bin location, but you could also do it by a sort method. So if you have the need to, you know, if you think of a warehouse where you might have to walk in a snake fashion, being able to do your picking sheet where it walks the picker through the warehouse in a proper fashion, right? So that's kind of a key feature. As we mentioned, it's going to be released on March 31st. You can purchase it standalone from DSD or through Scanforce. And we've shown it to a number of partners already. They love the design. I'd love to show it to you today, but we're kind of out of time. So if any of you want to meet with me separately, I can kind of show you where we're at with the product. And we'll obviously do some webinars as we get close to release. Any questions? Yes?
Does either solution, you know, I guess there's lines of demarcation, handle fill rates and customer priorities, so you only have so much stuff, who gets it, and, you know, is it 90% fillable order, 90% fillable line kind of logic?
Yeah, so the first revision we allow you to do, this is on the selling side, sales order, so you can do allocation at the sales order level, at the invoice level, and then in between at the picking sheet level. As far as doing split picking, that's something that we're looking at for revision.